In Tokyo, there's only one rule when you see feet beneath the curtain. Never ever look up. Welcome to Alex Story Time, and I am Alex. Everyone, this story is told in first person, but this is not my story. Here is the story. That day, raindrops mixed with snowflakes began falling early in the morning and continued incessantly, bringing with them a biting cold. My shift at the Japanese izakaya started at 5 in the afternoon. This izakaya was not a famous establishment. It was a small izakaya owned by the boss himself, decorated entirely in a Japanese style. Although it was located near the station, it was separated from the main road by a row of buildings. However, the business was still quite good, especially busy on weekends and holidays. It was the day before payday, a Friday, had just passed 9 in the evening. There were only 2 groups of customers in the izakaya. One appeared to be a white collar, and the other consisted of 2 migrant workers, dressed in relatively clean clothes. In the bar area, there were only the boss and his wife, which meant that there were a total of 6 of us in the entire izakaya. This situation caused the boss to frown with worry. He said to me quietly that since there were only these 2 tables of customers, we might close early. At that time, I was standing on the other side of the bar, where I could see the entrance. While dealing with the vegetable deliveries, I could also catch a glimpse of the people passing by outside. I could see them, but only see the feet of the passers-by from under the cotton door curtain, which was about knee-high for an average person. In fact, there were quite a few people outside. Pairs of feet in dress pants or slender legs in high heels moved back and forth in front of the door. After pondering for a while, the boss informed the 2 tables of customers, we are going to take down the cotton door curtain and get ready to close, but you are still welcome to continue dining. He then nodded at me, and I nodded back, leaving the bar and heading towards the entrance. I pulled open the wooden framed glass door, and a gust of cold wind rushed into the izakaya immediately. The cold wind outside was biting. I wanted to bring the cotton door curtain inside and hang it on a curtain rack inside the door. Just as I started to do so, the boss's wife said, "Hey, Takashi, there's someone standing outside." I glanced under the curtain and saw a pair of legs standing there, feet together and toes pointing towards the door. If I lifted the curtain, I would be face to face with the person outside. Perhaps because the glass door was still open, the cold wind blew onto my back, sending a chill down my spine. But those feet were bare, with skin that had an indeterminate color, either black or purple. They were extremely skinny. What struck me most was the string of red and white beads tied around the left foot. In an instant, images from horror movies and TV flooded my mind, and I froze, unable to move a single muscle. The boss's voice came from behind. "Takashi, it is so cold outside. Close the door quickly." Probably because I was blocking the way and the boss didn't see those eerie legs. I wanted to shout for help, but I couldn't make a sound. Just as I was at a loss and about to cry out of fear, a stern voice came from behind. "Young man, don't try to look outside." I was startled, and at the same time, I felt a sense of relief, as if an angel had called out to me. As soon as I regained my ability to move, I turned around to seek help immediately. The migrant worker who had been sitting at the bar stood up and stared intently in my direction. His behavior was strange. The boss and the other customer all looked at him. His companion, who had come with him, also looked at him in confusion. Don't move, the man said, shaking his head. I didn't expect to encounter such a thing in the city. He sighed. Turning to the boss, he said, Boss, bring me the cheapest bottle of liquor and some salt. His face was stern, and his tone was very serious. Although he had become a regular customer recently, he was still a familiar face. Behind him, the white collar had already paid the bill and was walking towards my direction. The worker said, Wait a moment. You can't go out yet. The white collar, who was about 30 years old and holding the phone to his ear, completely ignored the migrant worker's warning. My boss took a bottle of wine and a bowl of salt. Migrant worker did not take them, but walked forward and grabbed the white collar's shoulder, trying hard to persuade him not to leave the izakaya. You can't go out. You might not see those legs, but even if you can't see them, you will be taken away. The white collar covered the microphone of his phone and shouted at the man. What are you guys up to? Are you filming some prank show? I have an urgent matter at the company. I don't have time to waste on this nonsense. He pushed the man aside and walked forward quickly. Despite his thin and small build, he managed to push the burly worker aside, which was quite surprising. The white collar seemed to be in a real hurry. As he walked forward, my eyes naturally followed his steps and looked towards the entrance. I saw that the thin and pale legs had multiplied. Those grayish-purple calves with red and white beads had increased to 3 pairs. I don't know if the white collar could see those things, but now there was no way to verify it. He lifted the curtain and walked out. But as soon as he went outside, I heard his eerie cries for help. Hey, let me go. I still have to get back. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go. He disappeared into the darkness outside. At the same time, the legs also vanished. But the izakaya was brightly lit, and the space in front of the door should have been illuminated to some extent. The worker took the salt and the bottle of liquor and walked to the entrance. His movements were very skillful. He took a mouthful of liquor and sprayed it towards the curtain and the main door. Then he piled up 2 small mounds of salt on either side of the door and sprinkled some more outside. Finally, he lifted the curtain and walked out. I went out with my boss too. The street where our izakaya located was lined with many other shops, and there was a narrow path for pedestrians on our side. The opposite side of the road was a small river. It would take about 5 minutes to walk to the main road at the end of the street. I couldn't have disappeared from my sight in less than 30 seconds. Of course, if he had gone to another izakaya or fallen into the river, he might have been out of sight. But he was in such a hurry back to his office that this was impossible. My mind went blank, and the boss also looked bewildered. Only the man was still sighing. Damn it, I'm so angry. The boss asked, What happened to that white collar? Where did he go? Shall I call the police? The man sighed deeply. You should probably call the police, but it won't do much good. It's not something from this world. Calling the police will just add another missing person case. But if you don't call, his company or family will report him missing, and the police will still come to you. The man noticed that I was trembling uncontrollably and said, Young man, you didn't see that thing, did you? I'm sorry for scaring you like this. I didn't expect to see such a thing in the city, but I got a bit anxious. Later, he told me the whole story behind it. The man was from a rural village in Akita. When he was a child, there had been two similar incidents in his village. The elderly people in the village used liquor and salt to deal with such things. That thing would only show its feet at first. For example, when you were looking down like this time, when you could see the feet under a curtain-like barrier. Once you saw above the knees, it was basically over. In the end, because of what the man said, I was afraid to take a bath for a long time. He said that when you were in the bathroom washing your hair, maybe just before you wanted to open your eyes, you would feel a chill and an ominous premonition. Although this feeling was an illusion most of the time. If you saw a pair of feet standing in front of you in a misty vision, you absolutely must not look up at the upper body, especially if you saw those thin, grayish purple legs with red and white beads tied around them. Okay, everybody, this is the end of the whole story. Please share what you think of this story in your stories. If you enjoy my work and would like to help me continue to bring these stories to you, please subscribe to my channel or like my page. Give a thumbs up to the stories you appreciate and share your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I'd love to read them. Share the stories with anyone who might find them enjoyable. And I need a co-editor, a native English speaker to make these stories better. Thank you, everybody. This is Alex's Story Time, and I am Alex. I got a lot of good stories to share with you. So, see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.